The American people are tired of this war between Trump and Iran, holding our economy hostage. Trump says he doesn't want to be compared to Jimmy Carter, but that comparison brings back memories of the 1979 Iran hostage crisis. And ordinary Americans are asking the same basic question: where is the end game, and how much will we be forced to pay? This war began on February 28th, when the United States and Israel launched military strikes against Iran. Nearly 165 days later, the conflict has not produced the clean ending this administration promised. Instead, the Middle East remains unstable, the economic pressure is spreading, and Iran still has control over one of the most important oil routes in the world. And we cannot discuss this war without acknowledging its terrible human cost. On the opening day of the conflict, a school in Manab, southern Iran, was struck. More than 100 children were reportedly killed. A preliminary American military investigation found that U.S. forces were likely responsible. The Pentagon has not announced a final conclusion, but this was one of the darkest and deadliest incidents of the war. Now, Iran has found its strongest piece of leverage: the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway connects major Middle Eastern oil producers to the rest of the world. In a normal year, oil equal to approximately 20% of global petroleum consumption passes through it. Iran does not have to defeat the United States military to create enormous damage. It can disrupt shipping, frighten oil markets, and drive up costs around the world. And look at what is happening right now. Before the war, approximately 130 to 140 ships passed through the strait each day. On one recent day, that number reportedly fell to only 6. That means less oil moving, greater uncertainty, and more pressure on prices. Brent crude briefly reached approximately $90 a barrel as hopes for an agreement started fading. And when oil becomes more expensive, American families feel it. You see it at the gas pump. You see it in delivery costs, airline prices, and the price of goods transported across this country. Iran is not literally holding every American hostage, but it does have enough control over this oil route to place economic pressure on millions of people who had nothing to do with starting this war. Iran says the strait will remain restricted unless the United States changes its position and accepts certain conditions. Those conditions reportedly include ending the war, releasing frozen Iranian assets, and addressing the destruction caused by American and Israeli attacks. Other demands have reportedly been delivered through mediators. Trump has rejected Iran's demand for compensation and has made demands of his own. That leaves both sides digging in while the world economy sits in the middle. The United States is also paying a military price. Reports say the war has depleted critical American air defense interceptors and long-range precision missiles. Trump admits that supplies of some weapons are running low, although he says manufacturers are increasing production. That matters because America must remain prepared for threats in other parts of the world. Every missile used in Iran is one that cannot immediately be used somewhere else. This is where Chris Christie's comparison to Jimmy Carter comes in. In 1979, Iranian militants captured 52 Americans and held them for 444 days. President Carter could not bring them home before leaving office. A failed military rescue operation also killed 8 American service members. The longer that crisis continued, the more political damage Carter suffered. Today's crisis is different. Americans are not being held inside an embassy. But Christie's argument is that Iran is using the Strait of Hormuz to keep a damaging crisis alive and place political pressure directly on Trump. Trump says he still has choices. He can continue applying economic pressure, pursue an agreement, or strike Iran even harder. But none of those choices comes without serious risks. More attacks could expand the war. Waiting could keep oil and gas prices high. And accepting Iran's conditions could look like this administration started a war and then allowed Iran to dictate how it ends. And I'm keeping it real. This is what happens when an administration enters a war without clearly explaining the endgame to the American people. Iran did not create every problem facing Donald Trump. but it has figured out where America is vulnerable: oil, shipping, rising prices, and a war the American people were told would produce results. So, is Donald Trump becoming the next Jimmy Carter? Or can he end this crisis without dragging America into an even bigger war? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.